If you have the responsibility of preparing students for the challenges they'll face in tomorrow's tough and uncertain business environment, turn to the most efficient Intro to Business textbook on the market. Business in Action offers instructors and students a much-needed alternative to text that either overload students with distracting features and excessive detail, or underserve them by making compromises on essential coverage. Business in Action is up to 20% shorter than other comprehensive texts, setting the standard in high productivity learning. Throughout Business in Action, there's no filler and no fluff, and the examples were chosen carefully to illustrate important points without overloading the text. We invite you to do side-by-side comparisons with any other business text to see which one will make the best use of your class time and help your students maximize their study time. Each chapter is divided into 6 concise segments, each with its own learning objective. Each segment focuses on the most essential concepts and terminology to help students achieve that particular objective before moving on. The consistent structure simplifies course planning and class time allocation for instructors, and it helps students organize their reading, review, and test preparation. The objective-driven structure is carried through to the test bank and the assessment and remediation tools on MyBizLab, making it easy for instructors and students to zero in on specific chapter content. Each chapter segment concludes with a comprehensive checkpoint that helps students review and reinforce what they've learned in manageable doses, rather than reviewing an entire chapter at once. With this approach, each learning objective is addressed as a mini-chapter within the chapter, which helps students absorb new concepts in small, carefully metered segments and get confirmation before moving on to the next segment. Together, the 6 checkpoints in a chapter also make an ideal test prep tool for students. They can simply skim the checkpoints in succession for a quick refresher on chapter concepts and key terms. Every chapter in Business in Action is bookended with a behind-the-scenes vignette case study pair that helps students grasp the principles covered in the chapter and understand the importance of learning them. The chapter opening vignette introduces an entrepreneur or executive faced with a major strategic challenge and encourages students to imagine how they would address that challenge. The chapter closing case study describes the strategic choices the company's leaders made, including how they applied the concepts the student just learned in the chapter. 3 critical thinking questions require students to apply the concepts covered in the text, and they can find out more about the company featured in the case by completing the Learn More Online exercise. Business in Action's emphasis on efficiency and student-friendly design is on clear display, with more than 150 exhibits that teach. These unique diagrams and quick reference tables address the challenge of getting students to read long passages of text by presenting vital concepts visually. These visual learning tools convey essential concepts as efficiently and effectively as possible. The emphasis throughout is on productive learning, on helping students minimize the time they spend reading while maximizing the learning outcome. This value-added approach to visuals stands in sharp contrast to books that try to entertain students with decorative photos, cartoons, or fractured page designs that disrupt the flow of reading and thereby force students to spend even more time reading. One of the more intriguing challenges of teaching Introduction to Business is grounding students in the timeless fundamentals, while also making sure they grasp the major changes taking place in the business world. From the dramatic impact of social media to the emergence of unstructured organizations, Business in Action prepares students for changes that are redefining the organization of companies, the nature of employment, and the relationship companies have with customers and other stakeholders. And any textbook that doesn't keep up with them is serving students poorly. Consumers and taxpayers alike are more attuned than ever to business ethics and corporate social responsibility. Business in Action provides clear and comprehensive coverage of this vital topic, including a unique 4-level model of corporate social responsibility. With the spread of contingent workforces, talent markets, and virtual organizations, many of today's graduates will spend some or perhaps all of their careers working outside traditional organizational structures. They'll need to define their personal brands and take greater responsibility for their professional growth. Business in Action helps them understand this new world of work and how they can prepare themselves to succeed in it. Social media, networking technologies, and other advances have permanently altered the way companies and customers interact. Any textbook that still relies on the old 4Ps notion of promotion, with its unidirectional broadcasting of tightly scripted messages, is seriously behind the times. Today's smart companies know they need to initiate and respond to multi-directional conversations in a world where everybody has a voice and consumers rely primarily on each other for information. The unique real-time update service is yet another way Business in Action provides more value for you and your students. This system, developed by the authors and available free to all adopters and their students, provides regular content updates linked to material in the textbook, including interactive websites, presentations, online videos, and articles. Simply visit the Real-Time Updates website whenever you need fresh lecture material, or get new items delivered to your desktop automatically. Media resources are also integrated into the fabric of every chapter. Learn More media items connect students with dozens of carefully selected resources that provide contemporary examples, best practices from innovative companies, and insights from successful professionals. Many of them will help students hone their job search skills too. More than 75 new Learn More items were added in the 7th edition. In addition to learning about business, students can use Business in Action to map out their job search strategies and prepare themselves for the interviewing process. The prologue explains how to use this course to launch a career in business, and the 7th edition includes new model resumes that show students how to adapt their resumes to stepping stone jobs and expanding career opportunities. To order an examination copy of the new 7th edition, send an email to Pearson Education's Sampling Department at the address shown on the screen, or contact your local Pearson Education's representative. By using Business in Action in your Introduction to Business course, you'll equip your students with a professional-grade text that reflects the changing nature of business and accommodates the learning styles and habits of today's time-pressed students. With its emphasis on high-efficiency learning and value-added visuals, the 7th edition of Business in Action cements this textbook's position as the one textbook uniquely positioned to help today's students become tomorrow's focused, high-productivity business professionals.